welcome to Release the Quacken, the special episode of Disney with the Ducks. I am your host for tonight, Lonnie G, and I am joined by Jody B. How are you, Jody?
Hi, running friends.
And our special guest, running is life, Mean Gene. How you doing tonight, Mean?
Salutations. Pretty good. How are you?
Good deal. And guys, look, as you know, we are all training for upcoming Disney races. Our Release the Quacken series is something we just put out randomly to kind of check in on training as we are preparing for our Dopey Challenge or Marathon Weekend 2025. Wow, just say that. So we just finished week 13. We're going to go back a little bit. Week 12, we had a 4-mile walk and a long of 13 miles. Jody, how was your long walk and run for week 12?
It was fun. We ran a race that weekend. So it's kind of nice when you have a long run and you just decide to go do it as a race instead. So we did a 14 miler, which is a weird amount, but 8.6. So we ran 4.2 before the run, knowing that we'd go above 8.6 during the run, and ran that. It was hot. It was really hot. So took it slow and just enjoyed it.
It was hot, but it was also your anniversary weekend. So
it was.
There you go. Made it, worthwhile. Now, let me ask you this. Did Tim run off right before the finish line to finish before you? Or because it was your anniversary, did he let you win?
I won fair and square by quite a few minutes, if you want to be perfectly honest. But he did beat me across the first checkpoint, which was the 5K. He purposely ran ahead of me for that, but I smoked him at the end. Like I left him at mile 5 or 6 and just continued on. So yeah, we started together. We didn't finish together. So
we need to get his side of the story on that one, but we trust you, Jody B. We trust you. Mean Gene, woo! Your training is a little different because you're playing catch up, but you did have a long run in week 12. How did your long run go?
Yeah, so I had a 4-mile walk, and I mean, that was great as far as walks go. And I did it here at home, and then I went to the beach. I went to Gulfport, and my goal was to get as much as I could, and as much as I could with a stretch goal of 10, and I got 10 at barely, thanks to Jody. I called Jody at mile right about 7.5, and Jody basically just gave me moral support until I could see, my hotel in the distance.
You could see the courtyard. You're like, I can see the courtyard.
I could see the courtyard. I was like, man, it should be coming up. Where is it? Is that it? Oh no, that's a mirage. No. But there was a lot of walking. My walk intervals were a little elongated because I'm behind. I mean, I'm not, as we know, I'm not registered for a race even. So I'm just doing a faux dopey training. I'm just in case something happens and I get a wild hair and the stars align and things open up and I decide to go, I'll be ready. If not, I'm going to be in great shape, or not. I don't know.
Gene, I have an interesting thing to tell you. So this past week on the Rise and Run podcast, they had Mr. Galloway himself as the guest, and he was talking.
I've heard of him.
If you have not, if you're not necessarily right on par, and if you haven't, he was saying just try to get as much as you can, but don't miss those the maintenance miles, the week.
That's typically what I miss.
But don't miss those, Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, Wednesday, whenever you try to run those miles too. So he was very encouraging, saying it's not too late. So there you go.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think both of you guys made some good points in comments that I hope the listeners picked up on. Jody mentioned that it was really hot, so she slowed down, right? You should take, and if you go and download the Run Disney Galloway training plan, he kind of mentions in regards to slowing down as for every degree you kind of slow down. There's a formula. I don't know, math is hard, but you should slow down
It is hard.
when it is hot out there, right? So, it's perfect. And what Gene's doing, still, like I say, he's not registering, but he's getting ready. He's going to run it. But one thing that's most, I think is most important in what he's doing is he's getting the miles in, and it doesn't have to be all running, right? Each run is different. Sometimes you'll just blow it out. Other runs you'll struggle, right? No two runs are the same. So the fact that he set a goal for himself, he didn't give up, and he got it done, and he was able to call Jody and get that support that he needed as well. So running with friends, that's why we're all lizards. We always run with somebody. There's you never run alone, right? So two very good points.
How was your training run, Bonnie?
I'm sorry.
How was your training run?
Oh, my training run was good, actually. I got my 4-mile walk in. I got my 13-mile run walk in. Went a little bit over 13 miles, like 13.35 or something like that. And then followed up week 13 with my maintenance runs. Today was an easy one. It was only a 3-mile, but I put on a thing, so I ended up doing 4 miles. But getting ready because week 14 is coming up, and there are 2 45-minute maintenance runs, and then there is a 5.5-mile walk followed the next day by 15 miles.
Right.
So we're getting up there, right? The training is starting. The weather is cooling off a little bit, but we're starting to get to those longer miles. Jody, what do you do to prepare and transition to start having these back-to-back and longer runs?
This is really where hydration and fuel I start to play with. Back in my younger days, I used to not even take water for anything below a half marathon. I mean, honestly, I would just go out for a run. Now that I'm getting older, I'm trying to pay attention to these things. So I try to make sure the day. So I typically do my walk on Friday, my long run Saturday. That just works out better for my my life. So I tend to start really focusing on my water on Wednesdays. Try to make sure that I'm getting plenty in and hydrating properly.
God,
I also,
so
we use a fuel that I can't just run to the store and buy. We have to get it shipped to us. So I have to make sure that we've got plenty of that, which we do. We just put a big order in. So that's kind of what and then, Friday nights, I'm pretty boring. We're not doing much. We're hanging out, kind of relaxing, getting ready to wake up early. This one's going to be interesting because my daughter has a cross country race early that morning. So I may be up at like 3 running. We'll see. So yeah, but just time on feet, getting those miles in, doesn't have to be fast. It just has to get done.
Yeah. Forward is a pace. Good point with the hydration as well, right? I mean, a lot of times, and we'll talk about more as we get closer to marathon weekend, the importance of what you should be doing right now, though, is just like hydrating, kind of playing with your fuel source, seeing what you can take in that won't mess up your stomach as you're doing those long runs, because fueling is so very important. And also, you need the salt tablets and things of that nature. Start to play around with those. To make sure that you keep yourself hydrated and get the right minerals as you're running. Gene, anything that you do as you prepare for long runs, besides call Jody, because everybody can't call Jody.
Yeah, so I wish that I was built a little differently because typically I try to plan out how I'm going to run based on my travel, and sometimes it's not always the same day. Just based on schedule, travel, I'm flying in and think I'm going to get in a place at a certain time and get delayed. And there's just been a bunch of that lately, this last year and a half. So at this point, like the rest of my life, it's kind of fly by the seat of my pants. But I'm trying to do a better job of eating better. And I'm trying to do, last training cycle. I've really tried to concentrate on hydration more rather than just while I'm running, beforehand. I learned a lot from you guys because for me, it's always been it's just a simple, you lace up your shoes and go run, go run the distance and just get it done. And so I'm just trying to be a little bit more mindful, that's it.
Good point, Gene, in regards to to being mindful. You know, I was listening to another podcast, and they was talking about the importance of fueling. But another thing I find, I don't know if you guys have this issue as well. It's always harder to keep my weight down during these long training sessions because I'm always hungry, right?
Oh
So as
yeah,
I'm
for
doing more
sure.
running, I am always hungry. So, but now is the time to try to cut back on those calories a little bit, so that if you want to lose some weight to come into marathon weekend, say in running form, and taking the extra 5 pounds off your knees will help out a lot tremendously, right? Not just add the speed, but give you that kind
Right.
of like that endurance. So even though it's hard, you have enough time, you still have some time off that, just cutting a few calories here and there, aim for, half a pound to a pound a week maybe to try to take off. And by the time you get there, you'll be to Gene's point, the weight you want to be to kind of cruise by a marathon weekend. But I always struggle
Yeah.
during this time,
Mm-hmm.
just because simply I'm always hungry.
Yep.
I'm hungry right now. I'll be back. I'm gonna get something to eat. Yeah, so good deal. So, Jody, Gene, thank you so much for sharing your insights. Jody, anything else before we hop off?
I just want to talk a little bit. Gene called me on a run. He was just not feeling it, and that happens a lot. And whether you have a running friend to call, or a college friend to call, or your mom, or a spouse, or whomever, don't be afraid to pick up the phone while you're out there running. Sometimes it's hard for the person running to talk, so you may be doing a lot of the talking, but just try to get their mind off of what they're doing. I've done that plenty of times in a run, and it really, especially on training runs when they just feel never ending.
Yeah.
Races are different because there's excitement and crowd and other people, and you get caught up in the moment. Training runs can just be long and boring. So if you find yourself struggling, don't, unless it's like me running at 3 a.m. I don't know that anyone wants to answer my phone call. Maybe Cheryl, because she would be up because she's over in Europe. But don't be afraid to pick up the phone and call somebody, because it can help you get through those long runs.
Yeah.
You know what? We tried the Ducks OnlyFans page, and that didn't go well. And I'm wondering maybe if you do the Ducks Only Talk. That's it, Ducks Only Talk page, where people can sign up and call and talk to us if they're having trouble having a long run. I mean, literally, I think we might have had one subscriber for the OnlyFans Duck page, and we end up paying them money. So we got to do something. Do something better. We got podcasting fees. Gene, I should have given you some time to read the disclaimer on that one, man, because I don't want the lawyers to come at us. But so yeah, there we go. So
just to your point, Jody, I wanted to say this, that I learned my first Dopey, just the importance of training's hard. I've been undertrained, all 3 times I've attempted Dopey, and not generally not by choice. I was on the right track, and injuries, sickness, COVID hit hard, and just things like that. And the training runs are hard. Typically, when we introduced ourselves a couple of years ago, Kevin talked about his first marathon, his first Dopey was by himself. It's when he met everybody, but he basically trained. He didn't only train by himself, but he ran the races by himself. And I never would do that. I mean, one of the only reason I do it is for the people, and that's why the training is so hard for me. And so, I mean, I learned very early in my life to get by with a little help from my friends, whether it's, getting that little bit extra help during a test in college or whatever, I'm just joking. I didn't cheat. But I mean, calling somebody or whatever, I'll do what I got to do to get through the run. If that's what it takes, I'll call around until I find somebody,
What number of call was I? Was that number? You said you tried to call.
You were number one. I don't call Lonnie anymore. He's busy. He was at Harry Potter or the zoo or something.
Replaced by Jody. I understand.
No, but Lonnie has gotten me through a lot of runs. I mean, it's just, hey, it's just the way it is. I got no shame in my game. You know what I mean? I'll do what it takes.
I one time was on a 15, 18 something mile run, and I was going down the street, and I had it. And this guy was sitting outside, and he had a flag from the university that I graduated from. And I was like, oh, look, that's OU. And next thing you know, I'm sitting there talking to the guy for a little while, and he was the most encouraging. He's like, what mile are you on? You're awesome. You could do it, blah, blah. And I'm telling you, that random interaction with the stranger on this, it was a dead end cul-de-sac street. And I just needed, you know, another 0.5 to add on to my run. Like, I was just hitting every single street, and he was awesome. So, you know, sometimes you just get lifted up by random strangers too. So, you know, just do the training. January is the victory lap. And, but you know, right now we got to keep putting one foot in front of the other.
That's right.
That's right. Good advice, both of you. So thanks, guys, for sharing your insights. Hey, guys, good luck on week 14 training. Remember, hydrate, take your time, don't rush it, adapt because of heat, and remember, forward is the pace. Good night, everybody.
Bye, friends.
Later.
Keep on-